Hi guys. So today I'm doing a voiceover for several reasons. First, it's Saturday, so I wash my hair, and you guys know that I'm a black girl, so you know that conditioner um, it needs to stay on for a little while, so I'm doing that. I'm also washing my makeup brushes and letting them dry, so I'm not putting any makeup on today. And I just don't feel like getting in front of a camera and putting on a smile and talking to you guys today. And that kind of segues into what our topic is for today. I consider this to be one of the biggest scams that we have ever had to deal with, and that is this toxic positivity. If you don't know what toxic positivity is, it is where people are telling you that you should be, that despite whatever you're going through, you should try to be happy. If you know me, you know that I am not the most, I can't fake it. When I'm feeling bad, you're going to know it. When I'm happy, you're going to know it. I'm not going to fake it for anybody. But I'm constantly seeing people pressure others to be happy. And right now, especially with all the icky stuff that we have going on, that's just, it's not as easy to fake a smile when you're worried about how you're going to pay your rent. And it's not easy to fake a smile when you're worried about how your kids are going to eat. And the one thing that this whole icky time is teaching us is that we can't run away from our problems. We can't fake the funk anymore. You know, normally people would be going out, going to restaurants, going to parties, living their best life, YOLOing all, and posting that crap on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever. And now we're in a position where we can't. Life is not what it normally is. And so whereas you would post that picture of you jet setting off to the Caribbeans or wherever, we can't do that because of the icky situation. And so we're forced to be in our houses. And even though we have Netflix and Hulu and HBO Plus, and we may have distracted ourselves for a little bit watching Wonder Woman 1984, when all of that starts to get boring, you have to sit down and face the fact that your life is not going in the direction that you may want it to go. And in normal times, you probably wouldn't have to worry about this until you cut all the lights off and get ready to go to bed and your mind starts to wander. But now your mind is wandering a lot more than it was before because you no longer have the distractions that you once had. And I get it because that's kind of where I've been this whole year. Everything for me probably should have been a little bit more on the positive note, but the icky stuff came in and it really kind of crashed everything that I had planned for the year, and I'm bummed about it. And it's not just the little things like going to Disney that I wanted to do, and the fact that I started a new job, and as soon as that new job started, I wound up having to be at home and doing it from home, so I wasn't able to build the relationships with my colleagues that I wanted to. I've also had to deal with being sick. And I've had to worry about my health in a way that I never had to worry about it before, because not only am I dealing with this illness, I'm also having to deal with the fact that other people are out here and they can also get me sick. So, I'm bummed. And then I'm also dealing with a divorce. A lot of people out there, just like me, dealing with divorce, trying to get back out there in that dating scene, and trying to date when you're in your 30s and early, 40s and stuff is a whole different ball game than trying to date when you are in your 20s, because in your 20s, you really don't care. But once you get to a point where you're kind of secure with who you are, you're very selective in who you allow to share your energy with. At least for me, I know I am. But this toxic positivity has really, really hit us to a point where you can't ignore it now. Now that we're in 2020, going into 2021, people need to be okay with not being okay. You need to be okay with the fact that, hey, my life might not be where it is right now, where I want it to be. And it's okay for me to be angry, and it's okay for me to cry, and it's okay for me to shut myself off in a room for a day. And even though eventually you have to come out of it, you really have to deal with the issues that you have going on. You can't just fake the funk and pretend like you're happy all the time. And some people do it. Some people look like they're cut out of cottage cheese and they're always smiling. But me being the realist that I am, I can look past those fake smiles and tell you that it's not what it appears to be. I was having a conversation with my mom today. She was talking about one of our people that we know, and she's like, well, they've got this and they've got that, and they've got like a $1.5 million house. And I'm like, okay, so they have debt. And she's like, well, yeah, I guess I never thought about it that way. Yeah, they've got debt. And they're not as happy as you think they are. And maybe some people are really happy like that. And if they are, more power to you. But the fact of the matter is that regardless of how much money you have, I don't know if you guys are sitting there watching the Playboy Cardi and Iggy Azalea fiasco play out last night on Twitter. But, you know, they have money, they have fame. You would think that they would be happy. You would think that she wouldn't be dealing with the same kind of problems that most women who are single parents and not married are can deal with or having to deal with. But she is. I mean, there are a lot of women who are single mothers who are struggling financially, who are having to deal with the same thing, that the baby daddy won't put his name on a birth certificate or the baby daddy wasn't there. But if you look at through her Instagram, all you see are these happy, positive posts. But it got real yesterday. And so I'm just using it as an example. I really don't have no opinion on it. But it's we're at a point where everything is so fake and so phony that your feelings should not be. And you shouldn't have to fake your feelings and your emotions to your family. And I'm going to tell you, family members are the worst at toxic positivity and encouraging you to look on the bright side or telling you to go and pray about it instead of actually trying to find solutions to get yourself to the point that where you want to be. And they're also very good at knocking down your dreams because they feel like it's not attainable for them. So it can become it can become very dangerous, because if you're someone who sees, is trying to deal with your emotions and everyone is telling you, well, you need to be positive, eventually you're going to feel like there's something wrong with you, and then you're going to be worse off than where you already are. That was my problem, because everybody told me I needed to be positive, that I needed to be happy, that I needed to settle with what I had. And instead, I was trying to do what they wanted me to do instead of just having the breakdown that I needed to have at the moment and moving on. So that leads me to something else that I also feel like is very important that we talk about. And that is knowing when it's your time. I have this wonderful person that I follow on Twitter, and I see her post a lot about wanting to be married and wanting to have kids, and me and her are the same age, and we've taken two totally different aspects of life. And I'm constantly posting to her and saying, honey, it's okay to wait. If Janet Jackson can have a baby at 50, so can you. It's okay to not know who the perfect man is for you right at the moment, or to not settle for these bums that are out here. You got to know when it's your time to do things, because if you do things out of time, and if you're a Christian, a lot of people say out of season, if you don't do things when it's in your season, you're going to have failure. And that's another thing that for me was a big issue. I was always trying to do things before it was my time to do it. I got married before it was my time to do it. Ended up marrying the wrong person. I had kids before it was my time to do it. Ended up having to struggle a lot. And when you don't wait on your time and you try to rush the universe, then you end up being in a predicament that is not going to make you happy. And I think a lot of us do that. We think it's going to be one way and it's actually another. And I get it because, especially me coming off being single now, it's a lonely life when you are a single woman. And I've had to expand my horizons and date. I'll be honest. I'm starting to date outside my race because I have never done that before. It's not that I don't like my black men because I love y'all. It's just I'm just exploring new things. And sometimes we have to get out of our comfort zone in order to have some success in the things that we want. So that was one of the things that I decided that I wanted to change about myself, is that I didn't want to be so selective. But being a woman and being lonely, but it being anybody, it's a lonely life being a single person, because there are moments that you want to share with others that you can't because you don't have anyone to share those times with. So I know I rely a lot on my best friend who's a guy, and I know that she also relies on her best friend who is also a guy. And I'm going to link her channel below because she is awesome. Y'all need to give her some views and subscribe to her channel. But the biggest thing for me is that, just making sure that you know when it's the right time to do the things that you need to do, and not to put yourself on a timeline or the expectations of other people, because they live their life one way and you live your life a totally different way. And they may only see a small portion of your bigger goal. And it takes time to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish in life. There are so many things that I want to do, and I might not be able to do all of them, but if I get half of them done, heck, if I get 2 of them done, I'm happy. But like I said, there are those days where I feel like crap. And I just want you guys to know that, especially, like I said, around the holiday time, it's okay to not be okay. Stop allowing people to invalidate your feelings. Stop allowing people to tell you that you need to be grateful. Stop allowing people to tell you to pray about it. Stop allowing people to tell you that you should not be as upset as you are, because these are your feelings and your emotions, and you're the one that's living your life. Now, granted, once you have a good cry, once you punch a hole through a wall, or whatever you need to do, if you got to kiss Jack for a little while, whatever you have to do, once you do that, then you need to move on and start coming up with solutions to how you're going to get to the next step. Because if all you do is wallow in your problems, that's when it becomes an issue. But you got to move on to the next step. And that's a hard thing to do, but you got to just get up and get moving. But you have to deal with it in your own way. I go back to the episode, I don't know if you guys are Will and Grace fans, 1998, not the newer ones. The episode where her boyfriend dumps her and she's laying in the bed and she pulls out all the different slideshows and she's crying, and everybody's trying to cheer her up and tell her she needs to get over it, and she's just like, no. And then finally she's able to say, hey, I have to deal with this my way. And then everybody else kind of looks at their own problems and decides, hey, maybe I haven't been dealing with my issues either. And then eventually she gets out of the bed and she is better. And even though, that's a fictional show, that's just kind of how it is. You have to deal with your issues, and you have to deal with them in your own way. And then once you've dealt with them, get up out of the bed and move on with your life and make some changes. But don't fall for the scam. Don't fall for that scam that you cannot have your feelings. And don't fall for the scam that everything has to be positive, because it doesn't. Live your life and embrace the pain. is what I say. Embrace it and then move on from it. But that's the end of this video, guys. I may have been a little bit rambling. It's just something that kind of came to me today as I was talking to someone about some of their issues. But I hope you guys like this video. I'll probably have another one posted tomorrow, the one I promised you guys on JonList. And I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.